Hi, my name is Samantha and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be reviewing Fabiolli Cellars Diagon Alley on September 21st. Let's get into it. So I want to start off by saying I have been delayed in making this video because I've been thinking long and hard about how I wanted to make this video. There's a lot of emotions of what went on that day. It was both my best and worst show that I've ever had in 4 years. And I want to make sure that I do this video in the right way, that I am just sharing facts as to what happened. I don't want to share any emotion in it. So that is my goal. I do not want this to come across as like a hate piece or being mad or mean to someone. I just am very upset about what had happened, and I will not be interacting with this event coordinator or the venue ever again. You do you do what makes you happy. If either of them are watching this video, I hope that this video is just sharing what happened, and I hope that in the future you guys can do better. If anybody tried to like be rude in the comments, or I'm not even gonna drop the vendor's name, so if anyone comments on that, I'll just delete the comment. So just please treat people better in the future is my request. Okay, so let's start off positive. Let's talk about all the great things that happened. Let's talk about all the numbers. The show was, numbers wise and customers wise, the best show I've had. Like, it was so awesome. The customers were such a diverse group, all ages, races, genders. It was awesome. Families, couples, singletons, like, it was great. It was so amazing to have an event that drew so many people in together. It was so hot that day, and there were so many people dressed up in their Hogwarts robes. If you watched the video last week, I did finish my Hogwarts robes before I left for the show. I live in Pennsylvania, the show was in Virginia, but it was so hot I could not wear them because I knew that if I put them on, I would just not be able to function. So I did not wear them. I had them, I made them, but I put them on for one picture and that was it. So the way I set up my booth, I had all of my Harry Potter items on my front table, and then as an L shape on the side, I had all of the regular products. For everyone who wants to attack me in the comments about trademarks, yes, you are not allowed to sell trademarks. I'm well aware of that. Every single craft show I have ever been to, there are vendors selling trademark stuff, and I try my best to never do it. But you know what? I sold my soul for one show, and I needed it. The coffers were low, and this show was well worth it. So I won't be doing it again, but yeah, go ahead and attack me in the comments if you'd like. All right. And also every single other vendor there was doing the same thing. So if we would have gotten like fined or arrested or something, they would have had to take all 25 of us. So that's what it is. There were performances by the local ballet as well as the local high school. I could not see either of them. They both performed twice. The way that we were set up, like, they were behind the booths that were in front of me, and there were so many people there. I couldn't even see the booth across from me. There were so many people, let alone behind them in the wooded area was where the stage was. There's no way that I could have seen them at all. So I could not see any of the performances. I heard people clapping. I saw the kids like walking around in between the performances, but I personally did not see any of them. So I'm assuming they did well. It was great that they were there, but I did not get to witness any of it. This funny situation happened. I don't know how I was supposed to interact with this child and like what was the appropriate thing to do. I kind of just stood there. So this child walks up to me. The child is maybe like 10 years old, right? And he walks up to me, starts touching stuff in my booth, and starts making pig noises, like yeah, I can't even do it, but like pig honking noises like that. And that's all he's doing. And I'm like, uh-huh. And then I kind of just look away because I'm like, are you trying to interact with me? I'm so confused. And I was just trying to not be rude, so I just kind of and then just looked away and started working on something else, and the mom's just laughing, like standing like 2 feet away, and I was just like, okay. So let me know in the comments, how was I supposed to handle that interaction? I don't know, like, was I supposed to tell the kid, can you stop touching my stuff and go away, or can you speak and use words? I don't know what I was supposed to say to this child, so I kind of just didn't say anything. It was very strange. Also, someone left their phone in my booth. So it's towards like the afternoon, and I noticed there's a phone in my booth, and thankfully the lock screen was a picture of the woman, and I'm assuming her husband or boyfriend. And so I was able to like go look out of my booth and go try and find her, but I did not see her, so I kept it in my booth. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want this responsibility. I don't want this person's phone. Phones are like so expensive these days. I don't want that responsibility. I do not want that person's phone. Thankfully, her friend ends up calling like 30 minutes later and like, hey, and I'm like, hey, I found your phone, you know, can you come to my booth? This is who I am. And when they came back, I did recognize them, and they had purchased some things from me earlier. And the girl was so worried because she's like, I didn't know how you were going to know whose phone it was. I was like, well, thankfully, your picture's on the lock screen. So, pro tip, if you're at an event, put a picture on the lock screen of your family or the people that you're with, including yourself. Don't make it a picture of your dog or the sunset, because people can't find you. So make it a picture of yourself, or just only yourself, because then people can find you and return your phone to you. So pro tip there. Another crazy thing that happened, again, like in the middle of the day, this woman comes by and she is freaking out, and she's like, I can't find my son. He's nonverbal, he's autistic, he's 5 years old, I think she said. He's wearing a white shirt. And I'm like, oh shit, and like go like looking for this kid, right? I don't see the kid anywhere. And then we see a man holding the kid, and she's running up to him. So it's like, okay, well, thankfully, you know, she found her kid. But it was just like, oh my god. So like both the phone situation and the kid situation, like I don't know if the event coordinator or if the winery already had something in place. I did send them a feedback email, and that's one of the things that I listed of like, these things happen that I witnessed myself. I mean, I don't know what other things happened that I didn't witness, but like I said, this day was just so emotional, and like so many things happened in the course of one day that like I couldn't function when I went home. It was just, it was too much. Um, what else? The tissue pouches, they were the most popular with the kids, which I was really surprised, because I would think like, oh, tissue pouch, like put it in your purse, or, you know, keep it in your car. The kids wanted them for their book bags for school. So I thought that was really cool. Like I wasn't expecting so many kids to be interested in them. So that's really good to know. And the tissue pouches did really well. So I will definitely be making more and adding those to my stash. The food vendors that were there, so there was 25 vendors and there was two food trucks. The food vendors were all done by like 1 p.m. They didn't have anything left. So I don't know, did they not bring enough stuff? There was a crazy amount of people there. So this event got picked up in the Northern Virginia magazine, and there was so many people. Like, I don't even know, like thousands, I don't know, definitely more than hundreds. So many people. Like this place could not handle how many people there were. It was insane. So all the food people who had like cupcakes and cookies and stuff like that, they were done. They were done by 1, and we started at 11. So they only had like 2 hours worth of stuff, and then they just sat there until we left at 5. Story on that later. Another tissue pouch thing. So this 2 ladies, they picked out a bunch of tissue pouches, and they bought 12 of them for it was the mom and the daughter, and it was the mom, it was her son, so then the daughter, her brother, his wedding next month, and they bought 12 of them to be wedding favors next month. And I was like, oh, that is so sweet, I love that. And she actually did message me after the show asking for another one. I don't know if she went in the shop at Lazy Daisy or in Artisan Market. Both of those stores are in Leesburg, to go pick up a tissue pouch. I have them in those 2 shops, because I told her if she orders it online, I do have some, but she would have to pay shipping because I live in Pennsylvania. So she didn't message me back, so I'm not sure what's going on with that, if she ended up just picking them up in the store, because I told her the stores that I'm in. But that was really cool that she got so many of them. Okay, so let's talk stats. So I already did a video where I just talked about the Harry Potter fabric. So then today we're going to talk about like the whole thing overall. So it cost, I want to say $20 or $25 to be there for the donation. And it was outside. And then the amount of sales, I had a total sales of $987.86. I had 66 sales, and my average sale was $16.79. I did, you can see that like the gross and the net are different, and that's because 1, I offer a $2 discount every time you buy 3 of anything. So if you buy 3, you get $2 6 items, $4, and so on. So there's discounts there. Also, I messed up on one person's order. So I put it together and I charged too many wine bags. And she sent me an email, and I was able to go into the Square app and just return that. And then we were good, and she's like, thank you so much. So that was able to get solved. But those are the reason why the gross and the net do not match. I did a new thing where the stickers, the pins, and the totes I've had since my first show ever. I've been doing shows for 4 years now. So the stickers, my logo sticker, if you bought $20 or more, you got a sticker for free, or you could purchase one for $1. If you spent $40 or more, you got a pin and a sticker. And then if you spent $100 or more, you got a tote, a pin, and a sticker. And like I said, the totes I made for my first craft show ever, and I have never given any out. I gave one out over the weekend. So I gave out there was 5 orders over 20, so 5 stickers, and then there was 5 orders over 40, so 5 pins. So it was 10 stickers total because the people who got pins also got stickers. So that was really cool. I really liked being able to have that. My freebie bin is like wiped out. I got so many new subscribers. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for being here. This whole series has brought in so many new friends, so many new subscribers, so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So that bin is almost done. So I'm kind of grateful that there are some items left over that I can use to stock the bin, because we still have many shows to go. We've got October 2 shows, November I have 4 shows, and then December I'm trying to figure that out. So I'm supposed to be going to Ida Lee, but when I messaged them asking for an update, I got put on the wait list. So I'm trying to find other options. As of right now, on Sunday, I will be going to Claude, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing on Saturday. So I'm still trying to figure out my shows in December, but those are the shows that we have remaining. So I don't have a ton of time to make more stuff. So I'm grateful to have a couple things in the freebie bin. If you don't know, the freebie bin is if you subscribe on YouTube and follow on Instagram in person, you get to pick something out of the basket. I also like having the basket because then I can use it. For example, there was some kids that they were having fun picking stuff out, and they ended up buying some stuff, and they were just so kind. So I let them pick an item each out of the basket. There was a girl, and it was her 17th birthday. She had like a sash and a crown, and she was so sweet, and she got some stuff. So I let her pick something out. So I like having it as also a way that I could just be more friendly and just, invite people into my booth and just have something to give. My freebie bin normally consists of things that either I made for a video. For example, there was a bunch of bookmarks because I made those for a video, but I'm not selling them. Or if there's something that is imperfect and I can't sell it, things like that. That's what the freebie bin consists of. So it's really nice. I really enjoy having that. The breakdown of all of the items. So I sold 74 jar openers, which is $444, 39 tissue pouches, which is $234, 31 key fobs, which is $186, 18 wine bags, which is $180. Nobody bought a sticker, nobody bought a pin, and then I sold 4 reusable towels for $64. How did I sell reusable towels if I didn't have any there? Well, I had a very special customer who messaged me ahead of time asking for the items, and I told her I would not be bringing reusable towels to the show, so to let me know exactly what she wanted. So I'm letting you guys know that because if you ever want me to set something aside, or if there's a particular pattern that you want and you're coming to a show and you don't want to pay for shipping, just let me know, and you can either do the transaction ahead of time or you could do the transaction in person, and I can set those items aside. Or if I need to bring something special from home that I will not be having at that show, I'm happy to do that. And she's the one person that got the tote. Okay, so talking about pros and cons. So the pros was that it was a cheap event. It only cost $20, and I definitely did really well sales-wise. Another pro, like I said, all the customers were so nice, not a single Karen, and it was so diverse in every aspect of the word. It was really nice. They were a great customer base to talk to. Another pro was that they were crowded. That was also kind of a con, but in this case, we're calling it a pro because it was so busy. That was good. And then the food. I'm glad that they had a food truck, and I'm glad that they had different food vendors. I'm also glad for the diversity of the vendors. There was not 4 candle people and 5 jewelry people. There was diversity. All of the food, all of the vendors for crafts were all different things, which was so great. Like, I can't stand going to a show and then there's someone who has like the same stuff as you. Like, what's the point? You know, it's annoying for customers and it's annoying for the vendors. So they did a really nice job when they picked all of the different vendors. Okay. The cons was that it was outside and in the gravel. This property was humongous. It's such a big property. I do not understand why they had us smushed in like sardines in this gravel parking lot and exposed to the sun. Everyone was just sweating. It was so hot. People walking around were turning up the gravel, making it dusty, and it was just like not ideal. We could have very easily have been in one of the fields, and it would have been much easier for setup. Setup was such a pain. So because we were in this gravel parking lot, when we got there, we were first told, do not show up before 9 o'clock. You may not show up before 9 o'clock. If you show up before 9 o'clock, go park somewhere else. Do not show up before 9 o'clock. It's a parking lot. Who cares? What difference does it make? But whatever. I did not show up before 9 o'clock. Show started at 11. So we show up at 9 o'clock. And the event host tells us, okay, so it's a one-way in, one-way out. That means you pull up to your booth, you unload your stuff, and you move your car way over to the side field. And I'm like, really? Like, this place is so dirty. Like, I wanted to be able to set up my tent, we gotta talk about the rug. Lay down the rug, and then pull the rest of the stuff out of my car. Like, with the gravel and the dust and people driving, it was so disgusting and so dirty. Like, I did not want all my stuff getting all nasty and then having to load it back into the car and put it back in the house. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, really? Like, this is the best you could plan out for, and this has been planned for months. So that's what the load-in situation was. And like I said, during the event, all the customers were like, it's so hot, there's so many people, there's no shade, yet there were so many trees, there was so much shade. We could have very easily have been in the grass. The bathroom situation, there was not enough bathrooms. So the bathroom in the main tasting room, there is a men's bathroom, which is like a single stall, and then there's the women's bathroom, which is 2 stalls. So there's 3 toilets inside the building. And then there's this other little side building that they had, that it was said it was closed, but in the email the vendors got, we were told it was open to use the restroom. So that had a single bathroom in it. And then there was a porta potty. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 5 toilets on this whole property for thousands of people. Maybe I'm wrong about the thousands, but it seemed like there was thousands of people. There was at least 1,000 people. So not enough toilet to butt ratio. You know what I'm saying? Also, as a vendor, it made it very hard to use the restroom. Well, one, I was so slammed, I didn't have time to go to the bathroom. And when I did go to the bathroom, I ended up just having to go to the porta potty because it was the fastest one that I could see the line. I could go in the bathroom real quick, come back, hand sanitizer, and just keep going. Like, I did not have time to like go inside, maybe wait in line. You know, like, there was not time for that. The booths were so tight together, again, because we were like cramped in this gravel parking lot. Each booth was touching each other, and then we weren't allowed to stake our tents in the ground, so we had to use like freestanding weights. And because we had to use weights, everyone had different kinds of weights, and because the tents are touching, like, the weights did not work like next to each other. Like, it was such a pain. Like, people's weights were like stacked on top of each other, because what else were we supposed to do if all the tent feet were like touching, and then you want us to use weights, but then we can't stake it in the ground? If we would have had like 6 inches of space between each booth, it would have made a big difference. Also, it would have made the customers feel like everything was like less like crammed and tight in. The parking, so the parking for the vendors was like off in the side lot, and customers parked in that lot as well as the front grass. And when I say parking lot, it's just like a grass field. So there was no, as far as I know, there was no event host or winery person telling people where to park. So people were like not parking well, because also there's not like lines on the ground because it's like a grass field. So the parking was not efficient. The parking was not very like safe, because also there's children like running around between the cars, right? So that's not safe. So like the parking situation was not like a well structured or safe situation going on there. And also the entrance and the exit, oh my God, because there were so many people. So if you're not familiar with the Northern Virginia area where this winery is, so it's off of Route 15. Route 15 is 45 miles an hour, and it's each direction. It takes you from, this section takes you from Point of Rocks in Maryland to Leesburg, Virginia, which is very busy all the time. It's always a busy road. There was also, when you pull off 15 to go to the winery, It's maybe a mile, 2 miles down, I don't know, something like that. There's also a pumpkin patch, and that pumpkin patch had something going on as well. To get from the winery to 15, which was like, I don't know, a mile, 2 miles, something like that. I could put it on the screen. 45 minutes. 45 minutes. And then I heard from actual people who did it, an hour. 1 hour. This is also a gravel road with a ditch, right? In Northern Virginia, people in their Porsches and Teslas and bougie cars, like, if an emergency situation happened where someone got hurt and an ambulance needed to get out, or what if there was a fire and a fire truck needed to get in, there is no way that these people would have been able to take their cars when they're parked on this gravel road. They could not have moved into the shoulder to let the emergency vehicle by. It would have been such a dangerous situation if something unfortunate would have happened. Thankfully, nothing happened, and it was okay. Also, there was no police officer or a winery employee like directing traffic over on 15. By the time I left, there was, and it was still crazy. So from like, I don't know, 11 till 6 o'clock, 15 was just gridlocked in that like mile to mile out and then mile stretch, right? It was so bad, and it was so scary because it's like, I really, really hope something doesn't happen where an emergency vehicle does not need to get in or out of this place. So thankfully nothing happened. I don't know if there was any police officers or medical staff already on site in case something would have happened. I did not see any ambulance. Sometimes at bigger shows, like when I do the Expo Center, there are already police officers and, emergency personnel on site in case anything happened. I don't think that was the case. So if this were to happen again, they would definitely need to have someone preemptively there to make sure everybody's okay. Again, I don't think that the winery was anticipating it to be this busy and this well attended. So also, like I said, I sent a huge email with my feedback stating all of these things. So I also have more things to say, but stating all of the things so that hopefully it can be, taken to heart and taken into a input so that in future events, these things don't happen. So the show was on Saturday, and on Sunday, like Saturday night and Sunday, like all the things that happened were like consuming my thoughts, and it was just like in my brain the whole time I'm driving home from Virginia to Pennsylvania. I'm just like thinking, how do I want to handle this video? How do I want to handle the feedback? How do I want to do this? And I start putting all my information together. I start with bullet points, all the things for the event host as well as all the things for the venue, and I'm like, okay, and I start off with, I don't know if you're going to ask for feedback, but here's the information that I have, and I'm sorry if it's repetitive, and I'm ready to send an email to both the event host and the venue. And then on the 23rd, I actually get an email from the event host saying, hey, if you have feedback, here's an anonymous link. And I'm like, I'm not sending an anonymous link. Like, if that person is watching this video, I don't want it to have been an anonymous link. Like, I'm going to be upfront. Like, I'm confident enough in the things that happen that are fact that I'm going to share it. You know what I mean? Like, and again, I'm not trying to be like attacking. I'm not trying to be like aggressive. Like, I'm just trying to share what happened and what I experienced so that it doesn't happen to somebody else. So I sent my reply on the 25th. So 2 days later, and then the response I got back made me even more angry because it was not a response. I spent paragraphs and I spent days thinking over this, writing it up, having other people review it, making sure the things I said made sense. And then I get this response back that's like, okay, thank you. Like, we'll think about it. And also, I never heard anything from the venue. During the whole time I was there, I did not have any interactions with, as far as I know, anybody that worked at the venue. Nobody from the venue ever spoke to me the entire time. When I sent that reply email to the venue, I still have not heard anything directly from the venue back. So I'm honestly like, I don't know, like, obviously there's nothing they could do about it now, but they could just reply back and say, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Because the event host does not work for the venue. As far as I know, like, she just like ran the event. She does not work for the company. So they are two separate entities. So I don't know, it really upset me that like, I feel like the things that happened were not taken taken up. Okay, so the things at the venue, we already talked about the bathrooms. The next thing was that they were offering a 10% discount if someone showed a receipt. So person comes to one of the vendors, they buy something, they get a receipt, they go inside, they get to show that receipt and get 10% off a bottle. Wonderful. That is so kind. I really appreciate that the venue did this. The flip side of it, when I'm telling customers about this, right? One, customers are getting annoyed with me after they already told me they don't want a receipt, and then I'm trying to explain to them why they should take a receipt. And then two, I had many customers tell me that there's no way that they were going to go inside the building because the building was so crowded. Like the building, I don't know the square footage, but like the main floor, I would say is the size of like 2 townhouses combined. Like if you have that size in your head, like 2 townhouse general size floor plan, that kind of size. Apparently, I don't know, I never got a chance to go over there, packed like sardines. And so people are telling me, I'm introverted, I'm not comfortable with that, or oh, I have some, illness and I can't go in there, or no, that just stresses me out, I don't want to go in there, or I'm not waiting an hour in line for 10% off a bottle, and you could only use the discount that day. So like, it was very generous, it was very kind of them, but people were not happy with how crowded it was inside the building. So maybe next time they could do like have some sort of thing where like someone could order it online, or they could come back the next day, because it was just so insanely busy. Or maybe should have done tickets for people to get in so that the venue would have been more like controlled as to how many people were there. I don't know. There was too many people in that regard, and they didn't even want to go inside the building. The dust and the heat, like I said, it was really dusty, it was really hot, but there were so many trees. We could have very easily have moved all of the vendors under a shaded area, and then people could have parked in that parking lot, which is what that gravel lot is. It is a parking lot normally. The food, the food situation, there was not enough food trucks. There was 2 food trucks, and one of them, if you ordered from them, it was an hour and a half wait. And the other one, people told me that like they were very concerned about the food safety of that food truck, because like many of the containers were exposed and things were just like, it just wasn't very food safe. I did not get to see it myself, so I'm not sure. I'm just relaying what I heard from people. So the food situation was not the best. There was food inside the tasting room, like I said, but people didn't want to go in there because it was way too busy. And then the food vendors, like that were regular vendors, like the cookies and stuff, like I said, they were done by 1. So the food situation was not ideal. There definitely needed to be more food trucks. There needed to be more food options. The food vendor should have been required to have more food available. So that was the food, situation. The safety for the exit, we already talked about that. There should have been some sort of police officer or some sort of safety in regards to people coming from 15 to the entrance of the winery. And then the parking situation, again, there should have been like a parking lot attendant, or something going on with the parking, someone spray painted lines on the ground, something to make the parking situation better. And then so those are all my feedback for the venue. And then for the event host, I did not have a ton of interaction with the event host, but the interactions that I had were not ideal. So the first interaction that I had before the event, when I signed up for the event, everything was fine. No really interaction. It was fine. I just signed up and we were good and everything was fine. Then we get information about the show, right? And I'm looking at the weather and stuff, and I see that it's probably gonna rain on Saturday. And I'm like, crap, like I wonder what the rain situation is. And I had looked back through the email and I didn't see something on rain. So I replied back like saying like, hey, I'm looking forward to the event. Can you please let me know what the rain policy is? And the response I get back, which is this, and I'll let you decide. To me, I read it as per my last email. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I apologize. Like I didn't see it, but okay. And then I went back and read it and I was like, all right, sounds good. Then, like I said, when I pulled up and like the whole like pulling in one way, it was like such a mess. Setting up was such a mess of like, oh, you can only pull in one way. I was told that because my booth was on the left side that I was allowed to park on the side. So I was able to do, like I said, where I was able to pull up my tent, open the rug, and then pull the stuff out. So I was very, very, very grateful. Not everybody was so fortunate. And then at the end of the show, so the show was till 5 o'clock, and it died down after like 3 o'clock. It died down, And at every show I go to, towards like the last hour, hour and a half, depending on how many customers there are, I'll start putting my sign down, I'll start consolidating things. I never put any of my product away. All my product is always available. I'm always ready to take a transaction. I'm ready to help any customer that may need anything. But my booth is not going to be as perfect as it was in the morning. One, that's inefficient. Two, it's a waste of time. And three, like if a customer is still walking around, I still have everything available. So, what difference does it make? I get approached by the event host, who I have not seen since the morning, because she also was running her own booth, which was another thing that I said in my email, that like nobody came around like checking to make sure if everything was okay. Were they checking on the trash? Were they answering questions? Like, the event host was not running the event. You know what I mean? She was running her booth. So there needed to be a person, at least what I could tell, there was not a person. There should have been a person running that section of the event. And also the lines to the food trucks were huge and they were in the way, right? So like there needed to be someone like taking care of the lines. But I get approached at like, I don't know, 4:30-ish. My last transaction, I think, was at 3:30. I'll put it on the screen when my last transaction was. And I didn't have any transaction after that. And I get approached and in what I believe was a negative tone, was told, or asked, was, why are you packed up if the email says to stay, put together until 5 o'clock? And I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, all my product is still available. Like, I'm not packed up. Like, I'm still ready to help customers. I'm still here. I'm not packed up. And I get told that, oh, you can't pack up. Don't pack up. I'm like, I'm not packed up. All my product is still available. Yeah, I took my tent down. Yeah, I took my sign down. What difference does it make? Also, so this was 5 o'clock leaving. There's storms rolling in at 6 o'clock. In this same statement, I get told, oh, by the way, the venue is going to have a trivia tonight, and so we would like vendors to stay later. And I'm like, no, there's storms coming at 6 o'clock. I'm not staying later. And also there's like no customers. And because of staying later, right, then I'm told that I'm not allowed to bring my car over to load up. And I'm like, what? Like, I can't bring my car closer to load my stuff up? And I was like, okay. And like, thankfully I have my little wagon, right? And I could just walk my wagon to however far away my car is, which my car is, way over on the other field. I was like, all right. So then the person next to me, which was one of the bakery people, which I've said before, hadn't had anything since 1 o'clock. So since 1 o'clock, she's just sitting there with nothing. She has her tent, she has a single table, she's just sitting there. No products, no nothing. I don't even know if she had social media. I don't know if there's any point in her being there past selling out, right? She had nothing to do. When I had packed up at 4:30 and was on just the front two tables of my booth, she had put down her table. So then the event host goes to the person next to me and says, would you like to tell me why you're packed up when it says explicitly in the email not to be packed up before 5 o'clock? And the girl's like, I've not had anything to sell since 1 o'clock, and there's no customers, and I'm hungry and I'm tired, and it's 20 minutes out. Like, what? And the event host continues to say more things. I couldn't hear everything that was happening, and leaves the other vendor in tears, telling her that she could not be back and could not do another event. This is what I heard from the person afterwards. So then that person has to then stand there for 20 more minutes till 5 o'clock, till she's allowed to take her tent down. Then across from me, I don't know what they had, but they were like packed up and they were actually like moving out. Also, the two of us, we weren't even leaving our booth. We were both still standing in our booth that whole time. This person's like actively leaving. The reason why this is important is because when I went back and reread the emails about the whole 5 o'clock pack up thing, everything emphasized safety. Do not pack up before 5 o'clock because of safety. Do not pack up early because of safety. Safety, safety, safety. Okay, makes perfect sense. You don't want someone to be in danger. That's perfectly fine. And that's the reason why we weren't allowed to bring our cars, because if some vendors wanted to stay, it would be not safe to have cars if some vendors were staying. It's like, no, can we just all leave at 5? Like, what? So this person is leaving, so you could say that was not safe, although it's just like a single person taking their tent. So what danger are they causing? But anyways, okay, let's say that they're not being safe. They get approached, and same thing. Why are you packed up? It's not 5 o'clock. And they say, oh, our child, we have a family emergency, we have to go. And again, this is within the last 30 minutes of the show, and there's like 10 customers walking around. Also, the customers are witnessing this, and the faces that they're making are like, because the tones being used in the negative statements, these things that are happening are not being said out of kindness. They're not being said out of concern. They are not being said out of, professionalism, and it's just coming off extremely negative. And they're like, we have a family emergency, like our child, we have to go. And I can hear as they're walking away, that's not okay, da 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 da. And I'm like, what? Diagonal from me, these people, their booth was full of books. Husband and wife, 2 kids. And they were told that they could not bring their car over to pack up. You're telling me that they've been at that booth all day with their children who are like 10 and 7. Later, I find out that the woman never even got one chance to go to the bathroom or eat anything during the day. Or no, I take that back. She did eat something. She didn't get a chance to go to the bathroom the whole day because she was with the kids and running the booth, and it was so busy. And they get told that they cannot bring their car over to load up a booth full of books. You're expecting them to carry a booth full of books, I don't know, a quarter mile, a half mile, 100 feet, 100 yards, I don't know. A significant distance. Really? Like, because of the safety of having some people stay late. But also, in this same regard, the food truck that was on our end, next to me and the book people, was like a trailer, and this guy had to pull his car in to pull the trailer out. So a car did come in. So make it make sense. I don't know. So all of these things happen, and the interactions that happen at the end and the way that myself and the other vendors were treated, it just took me over the edge. I was so emotional. I was so angry. I was so upset. I was so every emotion under the sun. I didn't even know what to do. And that's why it took me so long to like think about what I wanted to say, think about how I wanted to say it. I still think I got emotional in this video, and I apologize. I did not mean to get emotional. It's just something that was very upsetting to me. Like, I don't think that you should treat people that way. Also, we're your customers, right? So like, the customers are our customers, and the vendors are the event hosts' customers. So we're your customers. Why are you treating your customers in a negative manner, in a disrespectful manner, not asking, are you okay? Why are you packing up early? Are you all right? Is everything okay? No, you're just saying, why are you packed up? Tell me why. It says explicitly in the email not to, and negative tone. And it's just like, it was unnecessary. It was uncalled for. For how positive the day was, it just took the day crashing down. And it was so disappointing to me. And that is all my words on it. I don't know what else to say. I'm happy to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Like I said, I will delete messages if they are rude or say the person's name, or I don't know what else to say. I'm trying to not make this video too long. I can see that we're already going to be close to 40 minutes, but that's what happened. I hope that my thoughts came across well. I hope that I shared the facts of what happened, and I hope that this situation doesn't happen again. I hope that people that interact with this event host, that this doesn't happen again. I hope that she please treat people with respect, and please, treat people kindly and talk in a space of kindness. I complain all the time about people packing up early from shows. However, every situation is different. In this situation, nobody was being harmed. No product was being put away that was not for sale, right? The person next to me did not have anything. The people across from me with the family emergency, I don't know. I don't know what they had. I can't speak to that. But myself, I had all my products still available. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, the fact that the venue has not spoken up and has not said anything either way, that really frustrates me too. So that's my thoughts on the topic. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this Harry Potter journey. I think this will be our last video in the series. If I do have anything to follow up, we will have a follow-up video if anything else happens on this front. But as of right now, this is the last video of the series. Thank you so much for coming along. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.